Unsolicited genius.
And I bring that up because try to attempt to follow some sense of logic. Here you have this discussion about pro-life, every baby matters. And then a couple of weeks ago, we had 19 babies killed, 2 teachers killed to the point that some of the bodies weren't even identifiable because children's bodies aren't supposed to be hit with that magnitude of fire power.
Yeah.
Decapitated, if we're being, if for full disclosure, some of them. So there's this want to protect babies, but then there's this lack of interest in protecting babies. And so, again, I got strong feelings about guns, period, in the sentence. But I open the floor to you. We'll start with you, Natalie, on your perspective when it comes to guns, if you want to share, but at minimum, the gun laws and what we are not doing about them in this country.
Yeah, I think it goes back to the original part of your statement, the level of ignorance that they either believe we have or they have in some cases. And then it goes back to my original statement that it's an economic thing. Like as much as racism is out there, the money is the root, like at the end of the day. And so where these same people can look you in your face and tell you an unborn child has rights, they also will say to you that gun control is not the issue when babies are, like you said, getting killed in this way. And so that's where it goes back to the level of ignorance that they either believe that we have or that they have. Like it's hard for me to hear them sometimes because I'm like, there's no way you're not connecting the dots. It's impossible that you're that naive or that ignorant or disconnected that you're not connecting the dots. And so I think it really goes back to money. It's like, it's too much money in guns, in oil, in certain things that they make it harder to get over those hurdles at any cost. I mean, unfortunately, our country is a country built on bloodshed. And so that doesn't change because, they see, think about how long this has been happening. I think I read an article about like when Columbine occurred as to when this occurred. And I mean, we've built podcasts, we've had 5G, like we've had so
We got
many
electric
things
cars,
happen.
we got Tesla in that time.
And we have not figured out a way to make gun control. Exactly. It's not a priority because of the economic impact.
Well, I have a theory, but Akilah, let's hear your thoughts.
I agree with Natalie. I mean, while I don't own a gun, I do have a license to carry, right? And so most people, when I tell them that, they're like, well, why do you have a license, but you don't carry? 1, because I need to go to the range. 2, because I need to buy a gun. 3, because I need somebody to take me to do 1 and 2, right? Somebody that I trust is going to help me get the piece that I need. There is a place for protecting yourself.
Mm-hmm.
There is a place for that. There is not a place for you to go buy a long gun at 18 when your brain is not fully formed, and then go to an elementary, first shoot your grandma in the face, and then go to elementary school and kill as many people as you did. So
you got Buffalo.
Yes, right. You scoped the place out a couple weeks before. all because you think one race is higher than another because that's what you feel, right? But who are you? You don't, in the grand scheme of things, you don't matter at all. That's your opinion, and you can control your house how you want to. But the minute you step outside your door and want to take on somebody else because you feel that one race is higher, has a higher hierarchy than another, come on now. Come on. Who
And
gives
you
the
got
right?
Tulsa, and you got Miami,
Right.
and you got
Perpetual.
And you got,
Right.
and you got,
It's
and you got.
perpetual, and
Absolutely.
it's not going to end. And one of my biggest fears was working in healthcare is that somebody's going to come shoot up the hospital.
Tell me about it.
Biggest
Tell them
fear.
about it, because I'm with you. Tell them about
Absolutely.
it. It's real.
Biggest fear. I mean, yeah, I worked in healthcare. I think, when did John Q come out? Right? That was, I don't know.
Now you gonna come on here and date yourself?
My
Well,
bad.
geez.
Strike that, right?
week.
But John Q came out, right? And we were all for Denzel, right? Because his son needed this treatment and blah, 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 blah.
But you and me was those administrators.
Exactly. Exactly. And you know, when I lived in Iowa, my office faced the front. So, and we ended up moving our ER to the front of the hospital. And I could see people coming in all day, going to the ER. And that was one of my biggest fears, that somebody would come in through that ER and just shoot up everything. And I would see them. I would be the first one to see them because I got a wall full of windows and I could see, and then I'm out of here. I don't know about the rest of y'all. But then we just had that in Oklahoma 2 weeks ago or a week ago. And then it happened again in California last week. And so now everybody where I am is scrambling, like, what are we going to do? How are we going to protect ourselves? Because the minute a patient is mad at a doctor, and I get it all the time, I talk to patients all day long that are upset with how somebody treated them, what the doctor said, how much time the doctor spent with them. To then, you know, you never know where that's going to go. I'm sorry, I got off on a tangent.
No, you good.
I don't think there is a
Take your time.
place. I don't think there is a place for long guns. I mean, I know people that have them. What are you gonna do? Are you really going to the Midwest to go shoot deer? Really?
And what deer needs to be shot with that type of, like, I grew up in the Midwest and it was a lot of guns, like, but not in what world? And that's what I think to myself all the time when these people are coming. The Kyle situation after
Rittenhouse.
Yes. In
Right,
what world does this person and whoever sells it to this person, in what world does it make sense? Like, what do you say in your mind? Like, oh, he might need this for what? For what?
At 18, at 17, what does he need it for?
And even if it's hunting, you literally have to have a license, a permit, whatever to do this hunting.
You have to have a license to go fishing.
You don't even, and if that's the case, keep whatever type of gun in a locker at that location. One, where you've been through certain whatever, but I'm right there with you. I taught special education, you know, and I was just, part of it too is hard because yes, I was scared that at any point somebody could come in that school and, you know, whatever, but also teaching special education and talking to these children in their mental kind of states, and no one caring, or no one, I shouldn't say caring, there were people who cared, but it was more about, hey, Natalie, we just need to get these people pushed through, and, you know, no, like, these kids have real pervasive development disorder. Like, they have disassociative, like, thought processes that keeps them from understanding that what you're doing does not make sense. Like you said, like, one, you don't have the right to decide whose race is superior, one, but then two, ultimately you're not changing whatever your end goal was, right? Like in this case with the kid in Texas, your end goal based off of your messages was just like people not valuing you, or people not taking you seriously, overlooking you, teasing you from what you have. how does killing these kids change that? And it's like, as a special education teacher, as you were trying to dig into things like that, that wasn't the focus of our school districts. Now it was a totally different time as far as mental health and mental health awareness goes, but I still believe that that's the case. And I believe that when a kid, when we're in a grocery store and we see somebody acting all shifty, whether it's kids or otherwise, you know, like that kid don't need this or that. So you can't tell me that that person went into the gun store. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You
No, I
can't
follow
tell
you.
me.
I follow you.
You can't tell me he went into
Right.
the gun store and nobody second guessed and was like, I'm not all the way right.
He a little
The cur-
shifty.
The
He a little
curls ain't quite
shifty.
curling here, you know,
Yeah.
like.
Mhm.
So you all are really talking about a lot of the reasons we need the tighter controls, we need the laws. People's mental health, wherewithal, ability, especially just what an 18-year-old comes with, period, right? Let alone if there are some actual mental health things going on, current laws, especially Texas, ain't nobody checking for that, right? But then there's people that just hate us for doing exactly what we're doing. And so
Yes.
there need, you know, how do you protect us? You got Asians being attacked. How, you know, the guy in New York, he was Black, he shot up the subway train. What, for what, right? So there's things that are happening in this country, sicknesses, diseases, disorders from all sorts of places that also give reason for red flag laws, give reasons for wait periods, give reasons for, like they say, common sense thing. Me, I prefer the day when you just, you know, learn how to do a karate chop and a backflip and, you know, whatever happened from there happened. I get that that's not this country. I got people who will chastise me and convince me. We need them, we want them. You can't take my guns, fine, so be it. But we need common sense laws, period. The reason why we aren't getting them is the thing that I've come to learn in this current cycle of massacre that we're experiencing. The NRA, we know, is a powerful lobbying body in addition to whatever else they do related to guns. When at their inception, they were about gun responsibility. They worked with Washington, D.C. to do the things that made guns safe for everybody. Protect the Second Amendment, but be safe with this thing. In the late 60s, early 70s, there was a rift within the ranks. And the rift being one side wanted too much restriction. The other side said we should be able to do what we want. And I paraphrase, is my show. But we should be able to do what we want. And to be able to do what we want, side won out. And so from that point forward, their mission, in addition to whatever else they do, because there's still gun safety stuff out there, there's still fun in the gun sun stuff out there, fun under the sun with a gun stuff out there. But their primary mission with politics is to support anything that loosens gun restrictions, increases the ownership, possession, circulation, production, money making of guns, and to resist anything that seeks to restrict it by any means necessary. And they have politician report cards from, and grade them from A+ to F-. And they have said that the politician that's with us can do and receive whatever he wants, she wants. The politician that goes against us does so at the risk of their career. And where that struck me, I learned that fact after watching your boy, Ted Cruz, respond to different reporters with the typical tagline.
Mhm.
Don't, this isn't political. He got mad with somebody. I'm sorry you're upset with America. We
Right,
got,
get out of here.
is we're the
Right.
safest place. I'm sorry you're upset. We're the safest place where everybody in the world wants to come and be America, right? He did his thing. And so for me to sit here and watch this human being that's intelligent enough to put on his clothes, whatever else he could do or can't do, I ain't even getting to that, but he's intelligent enough and capable enough to put on clothes, to get on the microphone and speak.
Mhm.
He has the ability to do that. Yet and still his logic for all these things, we're not going to talk about where he was during Snowpocalypse and all his
We
other
can-
failures
next
as a
show.
politician. But
Yeah.
he just touts this, continues to tout an ignorant line that don't follow logic. Right?
Yeah,
You can put on your clothes. So the fact that you doing this tells me it's intentional, right?
Yeah.
And so I said,
Absolutely.
you know, at the end of the day, Uncle Mo, my podcast mate, he said it, the solution is money, the solution is lobbying. It's somehow getting the lobbyists for the things that you believe in, we believe in, I believe, whoever you are, whether you believe or support us, me, how we do or say what we do. But to get what you want, you need money, you need people in DC lobby. So for me, for the NRA's power to be such that they had this whole party, all these people touting this
Under their
thing
thumb.
predicated on their mission and principles. If it's for it, we're for it. If it seeks to limit in any fashion or form, so do so at the risk of your career. All these people are financially tied. It's like, I don't know what horror, what science fiction horror where they just stick the tentacles in, you can't go nowhere. It's like they stuck.
Yeah.
And who knows what they risk if they do the best thing. You know, we say the right thing, but we just say the best thing. Raise the age to 21. Who knows what happened if they do that? And to me, Ted Cruz, Governor Abbott, they look like scared men. And they conduct themselves in the leadership role predicated on what they fear losing, and that takes precedent over the babies.
Absolutely.
And everyday life. I think you're absolutely right. You can tell just by the comments. What's this? I was looking for this guy's name. I don't know. He's a brother out of Florida who's clearly been bought.
DeSantis, you talking about the governor?
No, black guy. Clearly been
I
bought.
know who you're talking about.
Yeah,
He's always at like all the little meetings.
I want
I've
to say his
seen
last
him.
name is Murphy. I'm not sure, but clearly been bought
Okay.
on supporting gun rights. And then while I was watching the hearing yesterday, and they had this mother on there who had lost her son, I'm like, how much did they pay you to read the statement about it's not about gun control? It was a Black woman. It's not about gun control. But I will say this, and I get this, I listen to Joe Madison in the morning, and he quotes this guy as saying this: there are no permanent enemies and no permanent friends, only permanent interests. And that's how they continue to ride or die for each other. It don't matter. It don't matter if I have logic enough to dress myself every day. My permanent interest, which is my pocketbook, says I need to say this, this, and this, so I can get paid, so I can take my family to Mexico when the rest of my state
Get cold.
Yeah,
Right.
when the rest of my state is
No lights, no
dying from Snowmageddon, I need to do whatever I need to do.
Yeah. People died in that.
Now I'm gonna ask y'all this: two questions. Red flag laws. What do you really think they will be pervasive? If I can still go to a gun show, you don't know me, you don't know my background, you don't know I flipped out on my mama last week, or you don't know that I threatened I'm gonna shoot up the school 2 months ago,
Mhm.
I could still go to a, will red flag laws still allow me to go to a gun show and purchase a gun? Because how would you know those things?
Natalie.
Yeah, I think, and I don't know this. That was something I'll have to do research on. But
Mhm.
I think when purchasing guns at a gun show, well, before you would have to have like a permit or what is it called, like right to whatever. So I think if they did put those things into place, then yes, they would have to take it to the next level and say, like, even at a gun show, like, in order for you to, just like you got a CID to sell, cigarettes and liquor, you would have to do that. I personally don't think that that initiative will get pushed forward, unfortunately, for all of the reasons that you guys mentioned. But also, the age is not going to change, because what it would mean is then at 18 people can't enter the army, right? Like, then you can't, they would have to figure out like some way to justify that as well. And so I don't know, it's just I don't think I really answered your question, but I think what I
No, it's
wanted
okay. Because
wanted
it's more of, there's a loophole now with some of those
Mhm.
things. And
Right.
so will that loophole continue to happen even with the red flag laws? Now, it did pass the House today. But it goes on to Senate and we'll see what happens.
The
But
senator said it's already dead. So,
yeah,
but I
yes.
think, my thing to attach to the red flag laws is basically mental health, which again, in the conservative Republican spiel, that's what they go. We don't need gun control. We need better mental health, which is also a true statement, which fortunately is kind of the part of the mind game. Such a true, match mislead them with the truth. And so mental health resources are needed. Texas cut them.
all day long.
Texas 50th in the nation. So again, Governor Abbott, get it together. But the mental health is needed, yes. Anybody who kills another person, murders another person, there is a mental health component that needs addressing. Something wrong, something extreme, something clinical, medication, that's case by case. But yes, something's wrong if you willing and wanting to murder somebody else. But knowing somebody's mental health status, putting that responsibility on the parent to make a phone call, make them go see a doctor, commit them to some facility, prevent them from getting out in society, make them go seek counseling, make them go to therapy. People don't do it now. And so there's so much unattended to mental health in this country that creating a law that if somebody raises the flag, maybe it prevents something from happening, but it's not realistic. We should have mental health resources. There should be better mental health everywhere throughout the country. There should be better access. It should be more affordable. People should be certified, competent, all these things. And we need gun control so that if there is a failure in the system, the two sides don't meet.
Agree.
But we're proposing, they're going to put it in the responsibility of the state to figure out what they want to do with the money. Maybe they do some, maybe they don't, right? That's what they're saying. So at the end of the day, mental health will probably still be sparse, under-resourced, underutilized, and we will still not have common sense gun laws. So at this juncture, based on history, what we're seeing is much ado about nothing. It's going to be a lot of talk, a lot of emotion, a lot of hurt, pain, fear. I'm a father. The last few days of school for my son was intense.
I'm sure.
Emotional.
sure.
So we just gonna, what they're saying, what we've done, the people that are in office right now, are saying, y'all just gonna have to continue to deal with it. That's who we are and where we are. We'll leave it right there. We'll take a break and we'll be right back.
You are listening to
Wherever we are, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, like, if it's something to be liked, subscribe if it's something to be subscribed to, and follow. That's how we grow our reach. It's how we grow our brand.
Genius. Unsolicited genius.